Happy Monday, BBN, and welcome into another edition of the KSR Weekly Roundup. Welcome into another edition of the KSR Weekly Roundup. I, of course, am Brent Wainscott, and this edition, as always, is brought to you by Justice Dental. And quite frankly, we're doing this weekly roundup, but it was a relatively slow week, all things considered. Let's start with Kentucky basketball. Kentucky travels down to Tuscaloosa to take on Alabama, trying to avenge their 20-point loss at Rupp Arena, and Kentucky honestly played pretty well. It was a rock fight. They were able to slow down Nate Oates' offense, but it just wasn't enough. Kentucky would lose 70-59 due to another late-game meltdown. They were up with 4 minutes and some change to go. Alabama went on a 10-0 death run, and Kentucky would ultimately lose. Well, we thought they would have another chance to turn things around against number 5 Texas on Saturday, who was already dealing with COVID cases because Shaka Smart tested positive for COVID-19 and would have been out for the game against the Cats. But on Friday, it was announced that the game was canceled due to positive COVID cases within the Kentucky program. However, it's unsure who has COVID or if Kentucky's even going to play on Tuesday against Missouri. But what we do know is that B.J. Boston, Jacob Toppin, and Terrence Clark were seen at the women's game on Sunday. So if there is a game on Tuesday, we would like to think that they would be able to play. But for right now, we just don't know. Kentucky has to reach 13 wins to even think about making the tournament. They would have a 95% chance to make the tournament with 13 wins. However, they sit at 5 wins currently, and with only 9 games to go, they have to be damn near perfect. Only losing one of those games would get them in the tournament. Also, even though Kentucky didn't play Texas, let's just act like this tweet didn't happen. We don't associate or condone with that. If you guys want to make fun of it, I'm not going to stop you, but I mean, hey, they did win the SEC Big 12 Challenge, and Kentucky had no part in it, but that tweet's none of our business. Switching over to football and some more optimistic news, the schedule got released for the Wildcats for 2021, and most people took a look at the schedule and said that this schedule was one of the hardest ones in the SEC. I, however, disagree with that. I think Kentucky is set up for a special season here. You start off with, 4 really, opponents you should beat to start the season. You start off with Louisiana Monroe, you host Missouri the week after that, Chattanooga, and then you go to South Carolina. Those are 4 very winnable games for the Cats. If you take those 4, you travel into a death stretch where you host Florida, you host LSU, and then you go to Georgia. If Kentucky can just win 1, or even better, 2 of those games, you are set up for a really special season because you really end on a positive note. You go to Mississippi State, you host Tennessee, you go to Vanderbilt, and you go to Louisville, and those are all winnable games as well. However, the importance and the focus is on those October games where you host the top-tier SEC teams. However, Florida should be down, LSU should still be down, and in Georgia, they're just going to be world beaters this year. But you know what? If Kentucky can go between the hedges, sitting at 6-0, 7-0, however many games they played before they head over there, you've made it a 1-game season for the SEC. And as Kentucky fans, that's all we can really ever ask for out of this bunch, a game to go to the SEC championship game. And it's laid out right in front of this Kentucky football program that brings back a lot. There's obviously some question marks at receiver. The offensive coordinator is still a question mark, and then we have a question mark at quarterback as well. But I think Kentucky is set up for a really solid 9-3 season. And of course, yes, I know it's Super Bowl week and Aaron Rodgers didn't run it from the 8-yard line and Matt LaFleur kicked a field goal and Tom Brady is going to host a Super Bowl after beating my Packers after I talked so much crap about Tom Brady in my personal life. So, yeah, that sucks, and it hasn't been a great week for that. But, Mike Edwards is going to the Super Bowl, and that's something we can all rally around and, hopefully pull for. So I will be pulling for Mike Edwards and the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. I hate that my Packers once again fell short, but, let's just run it back next year, I guess. And we'll probably lose in the NFC Championship again because that's what we do. So, go Pack, go. Hate to see it end, but congratulations to Mike Edwards. The BBN is definitely rooting for you in the Super Bowl. That is all the time we have for this week's KSR Weekly Roundup. I hope you'll have a good week. Let's hope Kentucky plays on Tuesday. Fingers crossed. Everyone stay safe, mask up, and go Cats.